Hello, and welcome again to Glass with a Class. I hope you're enjoying my new venture with these videos, because I really am. Well, today, as promised, we'll look at different methods of identifying the multitude of patterns of depression glass. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list because I've already told you that I'm not an expert, just an interested collector. One way to start off with is that you may know people who collect it, and you can talk with them. They'll usually know at least a little bit about identifying this beautiful glass. Another way is to join an online group that has similar interests to yours. I've joined several glass group pages on social media. There are many knowledgeable people there, and they are very helpful. And if you want to, you can make some nice friends there. You can also do a search online for depression glass, or the history of depression glass, or something with that kind of wording. There will be several sources that jump up when you do that, with much information. Some of them even sell depression glass on their pages. One of the easiest and most efficient ways to ID glass is with a book that a glass expert has written. We're very fortunate to have had people that wrote these kinds of books in the past. A lot of them are unfortunately out of print now, but I have easily obtained mine from online auction sites for really good prices. It's possible that your local library may have copies that you can check out. The ones I have were written by people who are deceased now, and that's a shame because they're very knowledgeable and readily shared their wealth of information. Here are some of these books. My favorite author of depression glass books is Jean Florence, who wrote a number of books on different kinds of glassware, including quite a few on depression glass. Here are a few of mine. He did one about every year there for a while. You'll see ads from the depression glass years from various stores that carry depression glass. Most of them include a picture of one of their in-store displays and the prices. Look at, well, this was Woolworths. That was Woolworths. Okay, and look at this one. You can't see it really, so I'll tell you what it says. It's a covered bowl, 6 3/8 inch diameter, deep round shape with 3 artistic feet and a dome cover on and on. Do you see where it says $6.95? That's for a dozen of those, not just for that one. This is a beautiful bowl with 2 candlesticks. The 3-piece set was 65 cents. So that's the type of prices you had back then. This is another Jean Florence book. And this one is Jean Florence. And I showed you the first one. Wow. Hard to believe, isn't it? I love the Jean Florence books because they have knockout pictures of every pattern they show. So colorful. And each pattern is accompanied by quite a bit of information about it. They are alphabetical by pattern name, and each includes the manufacturer and the years they were produced. He includes the official name of the pattern, along with any nickname that may have been given over the years. Some people don't like the nicknames, but I don't mind. I like knowing them so that I'll know what people are talking about when they use them. Mr. Florence also did pocket guides, a sort of cliff notes on depression glass. They were easy to take along in your search for glass. There was also one by Hazel Marie Weatherman called Colored Glassware of the Depression Era. These books make for some nice, relaxing reading as you soak in the tub or sit on the porch drinking good old iced tea from a depression glass tumbler. I do want to caution you, though, not to completely trust listings on online auction and sale sites for identifying glass, because many of the folks listing depression glass there are guessing at the name of the piece or the manufacturer, and many times the price. I've contacted some of them to tell them what their item really is. This is helpful not only to people who are looking to buy depression glass, but also to folks who are trying to sell it. If they put the wrong information in their listing, they may be losing a sale to someone who is looking for the item that actually is instead of what it's listed as. For instance, if you're searching for an Atom sugar bowl and someone has one listed but is calling it a cherry blossom sugar bowl, you'll lose out on a possible buy and they'll lose out on a possible sale. I do this in a very kind private message to the lister, and they're usually very appreciative of the information. I know you want to see this week's featured piece of glass, and here it is. This is Block Optic. Its nickname is Block, and it was manufactured by the Hocking Glass Company in Lancaster, Ohio, between the years of 1929 and 1933. Hocking made this pattern in crystal, green, pink, and yellow, and some in amber blue and clam broth green. This is a green sherbet, and it was my mother's. She had 4 of them and gave them to me years ago. I've made many jellos and puddings in them over the years. Yes, folks, use your glass. Some folks collect it and display it or pack it up and store it. But I and many others say use that glass. It was made back then to use, and if it survived this long, it deserves to be pulled out and used again. I have to say, though, that I understand why folks just display it or store it. They don't want it to get broken. I like to use mine. Much of it reminds me of my mother or my mother-in-law. It sets a striking table. I only know this because other folks have collected sets and posted pictures on social media of them being used on their table and place settings. I don't collect whole sets because I don't have room in my house for 8 or 12 complete place settings. So I collect what I call add-ons, such as salt and pepper shakers, sugar bowls and creamers, candle holders, coasters, and butter dishes, and the like. Oh, don't get me started on butter dishes. There's some beauties out there. Let's set this little beauty aside and begin the class part of Glass for the Class. This time we're talking about 2, 2, and 2. These are easy to mix up, especially if you're in a hurry or your mind is elsewhere. And this only matters when you're writing because they're pronounced exactly the same. Now don't ask me how it is that these 3 little words are spelled differently but are pronounced exactly the same. 2, T-O. It's a preposition and usually correlates between 2 words or phrases. For instance, I am going to the bus stop. Then I am going to ride the bus. The next one is 2, T-W-O. This one is easy enough. It's just the number 2 spelled out, T-W-O. I might ride 2 buses. It's just a number. The last of our 3 little words is T-O-O, 2. It has a couple of meanings. It can mean also. Instead of saying, I'm going to the bus stop also, you might say, I'm going to the bus stop too. It can also mean to a degree that is not desirable. For instance, he is going too fast. Here are your Bible verses for these words. Genesis chapter 6, verse 19. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every kind into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Genesis chapter 18, verse 14a. Is anything too difficult for the Lord? Well, we finished up another fun and informative episode of Glass with a Class. Come back next time and we'll talk about depression glass reproductions. Copies of the real thing. Imposters. That can make for disappointment. So we'll talk about how to identify a copy from the real thing. There are telltale signs to look for, and we'll talk about that. I hope you enjoyed Glass with a Class today. See you next time. Bye-bye.